So I did the reading for Virgos, and they have this same card in the same position. So you might be in a relationship with one. You might have that is strongly aspected in your chart. And let me just go through the spread here. So let me try to make sense of this. It feels to me as if for some of you, you're waiting on something in your life, like a cycle to complete before you start dating. That's what it feels like to me. Some of you might be students. You're heavily focused on your schoolwork and you don't want a distraction, which is great. And then others of you, I'm seeing this energy strongly. It's almost like relationship is out of your control because your parents might be the one who chooses the person for you. And then others, I feel like you just feel like last year, it seems, and also going into the January, February timeframe, you feel like, oh, relationships are a lot of work, so I'm not really sure if I want to invest the time. So it seems like you're I don't want to say like the blockage is coming from you because I feel like you're doing it for valid, legitimate reasons. And then others, I feel like the relationship sector, you feel like it's outside of your control. Parents might have a more of a your parents might be planning who you're going to get engaged to, who you're going to marry, and so you're leaving it in their hands, okay? So let me just talk about this. A lot of you are in a relationship here. We have a water sign. So this is a Pisces, Cancer, or a Scorpio. You're in a relationship with this person. There's very, very strong attraction, a very strong, this is here the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups basically indicates a very strong soul connection where two people see the best in each other and two people care about each other, not just as lovers, but more like, you not only love each other, but you like each other as friends, as companions, and you really do see the best in each other. And it's linked up with this water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. This is the Queen of Cups. Someone who's very caring. They're not status conscious. They don't hold grudges. They don't keep scores. They just care about the other person and wants the best for the other person. You're with somebody who is very, very, very generous. I do see an element here about some of you feeling as if you got into the relationship with this person when you were too young, when you didn't know enough about yourself. And I also feel like they likewise got into the relationship with you when they were too young, when they didn't know better. Or not that when they didn't know better, but it's almost like somebody feeling as if it happened too soon. We've been together for too long. And I wish we could have, experimented a little bit more to find out what it is that we're really after or what it is that's appropriate for us. So some of you are dating this person right now. Things are going really well. Even though there might be, wanting to explore other options from your end or from their end. But overall, it is a very, very stable relationship. Others of you, this person is in your past and you have children together. And this person is I feel like this is a really solid, very good person. They have a good heart. They're a great mother or father figure. If you have children together, I feel almost as if, the children are saying, why aren't you and dad or mom together? Why aren't you guys together? We want you to get back together. And so there's this element about, feeling like this is a situation outside of your control. You might have gotten together when you were too young. And the relationship didn't work out that time, whenever the relationship ended, it didn't work out because you were too young. You both didn't know how to navigate each other's energy with the children in the picture, with the stress of work, with the stress of everyday life. The relationship kind of fell apart, but you still have a great deal of respect for this person. And I feel like some of you are longing for a chance to reconnect, or even to, maintain that friendship bond between the two of you. In the past, I have here the Sun and the Six of Swords. So both of these cards are in the reverse position. So first of all, the Six of Swords is a situation where we keep re-engaging with somebody in conflict, okay? And it's not a conflict-ridden card, but when it's in the reverse position, it's almost like going after something, and we know that it's going to cause a lot of strife, or it's going to be quite turbulent. Okay, so returning to a turbulent time in the past, and this is already in the past, as well as the sun, it's like re-engaging in the same thing over and over again, knowing that the outcome is not going to be in our best interest. Okay, trying to reach out to somebody that is very stubborn is what I'm feeling. Trying to, follow somebody, or being attracted to somebody who is a little bit more like just on the selfish end. They're a little bit more self-absorbed, and they might not appreciate you guys the way that you want to be appreciated. So I feel like in the past, you got into a relationship where the other person could not reciprocate your feelings. They're a little bit more self-absorbed. They themselves might be the bachelor or the bachelorette. They don't want that commitment, and they made it very clear as well. With this in the reverse position, it's sort of like the smoke and mirrors. What you saw with this person was not what you got. And so there might have been some type of like misleading information, deception, and things like that. And no matter what, you still like willingly forgive this person. And you try to, it seems to me like the chase. They're not looking for a relationship. And with some people too, when someone is not looking for a relationship, it's like the thrill of the chase, the thrill of wanting somebody who's almost unattainable. So be very careful about that tendency, okay, Libras? Which brings us to the present moment. We have here the Emperor as well as the Seven of Wands. And I feel like this, first of all, I feel like some of you are, like I mentioned, that massive growth spurt where you're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to, this card, it's a really powerful card, mainly because in a relationship, it basically means that we have to, just by default, we have to make the right decision. We have to do the right thing. And the right thing involves, many people. So it's not an easy decision, but we have to come to the point of enlightenment where we make the decision that is best for everybody involved, and not just to fulfill our, to gratify ourselves or gratify a specific person. So this is a card about knowledge, growth, maturity. Okay. And I feel like sometime for the month of April, there might be temptation. There might also be, a relationship partner who loves you a great deal, but for some reason you don't feel the same level of excitement in the relationship. And so you have to really make the right decision. If you're not in love with them as much as they are in love with you, you have to let them go so that they can find somebody else. Okay. And likewise, if you're in a relationship with someone and there's temptation, or if there's like trouble in paradise, try to work things out. So this is like making the harder decision so that everybody involved can be happy, so that we can, operate from a higher space of consciousness and we do the right thing. So you and Virgo both got this card in the same position. So it basically indicates to me as well that, you're, especially for those of you who are right on the cusp between Libras and Virgo, you might be confronted with this energy. And we have as well the Seven of Wands. This is kind of like standing up for ourselves, sticking to our beliefs, even though other people don't agree with us, we're still going to do what we want. So once again, if you are with somebody, right, and your friends know, like, if somebody from your past has constantly, like reeled you back in, and you're telling your friends about this person, your friends all know the history, the ins and out, the years that you've dealt with this person. And for some reason, there is a, communication with them, or they're reaching out. And your friends are just like, no, don't do it. And I feel like deep down, you know that they're right. But deep down, you want to give it another try, mainly because the attraction is really strong. So I feel like you're going to be in a position where you have to confront or defend the things, the decision that you're making. And keep in mind, relationships, honestly, it's between two people. And whatever you feel in your gut, just go with it. The fact that we oftentimes feel like we have to defend what we're doing, we have to defend the relationship, basically means that deep down we might not believe in it as much as we preach. Okay, so I feel like there's something here about your friends telling you not to go for it, or your friends interfering in your relationship, and that's not where they belong. And so clear out this need for input. You have to make this decision on your own. And whatever decision you're making on your own, stick with it, because this is coming from it's coming from a higher space, okay? And so don't rely on other people for advice, for input, and even for like guidance when it comes to a relationship decision, because I feel like you already know what you need to do. And using them as a sounding board, I feel like that's all it is. It's just a sounding board to confirm with you, but they might not agree with you. And so that's going to throw further confusion in the mix, okay? So it's a time for you to make this decision unilaterally and try to do the right thing, okay? Crowning this reading is something that you are thinking about. And we have here the Four of Coins as well as the Page of Cups. So I just keep seeing this water sign around you. So Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And the Four of Coins is sort of like we are clinging on to something because we're afraid of losing it. I feel like some of you are looking at a relationship, and possibly with the water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. You really care about this person, but I feel like the love and the devotion is coming in a lot stronger from their end. Okay, so I feel like this relationship, because of the love, because of the dependability in the other person, it feels almost as if it's a security blanket. You're afraid to lose this person. And I'm feeling like some of you are having this ethical dilemma where the other person loves you a lot and you have a really strong history together. But whether or not you are 100% in love with them, that's another story. Okay, so like I said, doing the right thing. If you can honestly tell yourself that you love them and you can see yourself, together for the long haul, then by all means, stay in the relationship. But I feel like the love might be dwindling from your end. That's what it feels like to me. Which brings us into the future position here. We have the Ace of Coins, and the Ace of Coins is basically the beginning of a relationship that has a lot of potential. Some of you are single, moving away from this person, but really thinking about them and thinking about, how you could have done things differently to make that work. You're moving on to a new relationship, and there's still some hesitation and trepidation between the two of you. You might be shifting into an earth sign, so a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. And you might have, taken some time off from dating. This person just automatically comes into your life. They seem to me to be very financially stable, but I do sense that I feel like it has a lot of potential to work out. However, whatever you were used to dealing with, the previous person, the love was very unconditional, very, very strong. And you feel it. You feel it that they're very devoted to you. And with the new person, they're very guarded and they're very cautious. So it's going to be difficult for you to, it's difficult to take this person for granted. Okay. It's going to be very difficult because they want you to contribute. They want you to meet them halfway before they're going to open themselves up, before they're going to give you anything. So I feel like you're dealing with somebody who is completely different from the ex, where the love might have been very unconditional. So here's the thing, Libras, and I feel like I'm getting a better grip on this reading after, the cards all came out. So here's the thing. I feel like a lot of you are transitioning from a water sign. So this is a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, very loving, into an earth sign. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And the strategies with dealing with both of these people are not going to be the same. However, you're going to realize for this month, strategies when it comes to love relationships are actually all the same. So we have to tweak our communication depending on who we're dealing with. We have to tweak, we have to get the balance right between what we're doing and what they're doing and how to, connect with each other on an emotional way. However, the thing here is that you have to be very, very careful about the balancing out that relationship so that it's fair and that the other person doesn't feel like they're taken for granted and you yourself don't feel like you're taken for granted. So I feel like it's a very delicate balancing act if you are dating somebody new, trying to make things work, because this person is not going to be the one that jumps in and does everything. They hold back a lot. They're very, very cautious. They also don't lose themselves, don't get swept off their feet. They're not swept away in new relationships. They are very secure and grounded, and they know themselves. And so, because of that, it's going to take some time to get them to really open up. Okay, for those who are single, I feel like it's going to be better for the singles. Stable relationship partner, you've got a really good partner here. But I feel almost like I feel like they're waiting for more of a gesture from your end about how you feel about them. It seems like they're very open and candid, but I feel like they're wondering where you're coming from. They're wondering how you feel about the relationship. And then singles, I do sense here new relationship prospects, okay? But that's contingent upon you making yourself available, putting yourself out there, etc. And so I do see a very strong link here with Virgos, okay? So if you're in a relationship with Virgos, Virgos are known as, the picky people, the perfectionists. And Virgo people, they work really hard to, I almost feel like to artificially create romance in the relationship. They really try, and when they try. They really try. They try to keep the romance alive. They try to do, very romantic gestures. And so if you start to see these things, it's indicative that they're really trying hard, okay? So don't take your relationships for granted. Be very, very clear about your intentions here.